Grounded is not the same as certain, and that distinction is everything on a Sunday morning. Certainty would mean knowing what the week will bring, knowing how the conversations will go, how the decisions will land, how the uncertain things will resolve. And certainty, honestly examined, is not available. The week ahead has not revealed itself. It will not reveal itself ahead of time. The outcomes are not yet determined. The unexpected things have not yet announced their arrival. The person standing at the beginning of the week cannot know what they are standing at the beginning of, but grounded is available right now, before any of that is known. Grounded means the foundation is established before the structure goes up. It means the roots are down before the wind comes. It means something is set in the interior before the week arrives to set it differently. The grounded person does not know what is coming. They know what they are standing on. And the standing on does not change with the changing of the week's conditions. It holds when the week is smooth and holds still when the week is not. This is Sunday, April 19th, the last morning before the week begins, the threshold moment, the hinge between what was and what is coming. And before the coming week has made a single claim on the interior, you came here to be grounded, not informed about the future, grounded in the one who holds it. His word declares in the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 3 verse 11 that no one can lay any foundation other than the one already laid, which is Jesus Christ. No other foundation, not the confidence of Monday's good intentions, not the optimism of a weekend that went well, not the momentum of a plan that feels solid from the Sunday side of it. One foundation, already laid, the one that does not shift when the week shifts, the one that was there before the week's first demand and will be there when the week's last demand has been met. Before we enter this prayer, write in the comments right now, Lord, ground my mind in you before this week begins. What you established cannot be moved by what the week brings. Write it as the declaration of the foundation before the structure is tested. Because what is declared over the foundation on Sunday morning shapes what holds when Wednesday tests it. Like this video as an act of choosing the foundation before the building begins. Subscribe to this channel so we can begin every week together before Monday has had a single chance to define the interior. And share this prayer with someone who is standing at the beginning of a week that looks uncertain from here. What you send might be the grounding they needed before the week revealed what it would require. Now let us establish the foundation before the week is built on it. Lord my God and my Father, I come before you on this Sunday morning with the week ahead of me unread. I do not know what it will contain. I do not know where the difficulty will come from, or what the conversations will require, or which Tuesday decision will be the one that matters most in retrospect. I do not know what the unexpected thing will be, or when it will arrive, or whether the energy I have right now will be sufficient for what the week is going to ask. I bring all of that not knowing to you, not as anxiety, as the honest starting point for a prayer that is not asking you to tell me what the week holds, but to ground me in what does not change regardless of what the week holds. Ground me, Lord, in you, before Monday, before any of it, right now. Your word declares in the book of Psalms, chapter 62, verses 5 through 6, that my soul find rest in God. My hope comes from Him. Truly He is my rock and my salvation. He is my fortress. I will not be shaken. The rock, the fortress, those are the images of a foundation that holds not because the conditions are favorable, but because the foundation itself is what it is, regardless of the conditions. And the person resting on that foundation does not look at the week ahead and calculate their survival odds. They look at the foundation and know that what they are standing on does not calculate. I will not be shaken. That is not a prediction about the week. It is a declaration about the foundation, And Father, I want to ask for something that grounding in you specifically provides that no amount of planning can substitute for. Perspective. The grounded person moves through the week with a different relationship to the events than the ungrounded one. Not because the events are different, because where the person is standing when they encounter the events is different. The ungrounded person evaluates the week's events from inside the events. The Monday difficulty is assessed from within Monday's difficulty. The Wednesday setback is measured from within Wednesday's discouragement. The Friday exhaustion is the lens through which Friday is experienced. The events shape the perspective, because the perspective has no foundation outside the events themselves. The grounded person encounters the same events from a position that is not located within the events. They are in the week, but not only in the week. They are standing on something that is outside the week's conditions, which gives them a vantage point the ungrounded person cannot access. The Monday difficulty is real, but it is not the only thing visible. The Wednesday setback is visible alongside the faithfulness that has been constant through previous setbacks. The Friday exhaustion is acknowledged without it becoming the only truth about the week. That wider vantage point is not stoicism. It is not the performance of calm. It is the actual structural advantage of having a foundation that the weak cannot reach. And that advantage is established here, in this prayer, on this Sunday morning, before Monday arrives with its limited and pressured perspective. Your word declares in the book of Romans chapter 8 verse 28 that we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose, in all things. The grounded person brings that declaration into the week, not as a formula that resolves every difficulty, as the perspective that holds the difficulty inside a larger frame. The frame where all things, including the ones that will not feel like good on Wednesday, are being worked together by a God whose purposes are not thwarted by the week's contents. Father, I want to name what it means to be grounded specifically in the kind of week that this one might become. The week ahead holds things that look manageable from here and things that look uncertain. That is the description of every week before it begins. But the specific character of this coming week, the particular shape of what its uncertainties contain, is something only the person living this life knows. The relationship that is in a season of tension, the work situation that has been developing in a direction that is not yet resolved, the health concern that has been present and has not yet been addressed, the financial pressure that arrived last week and is still here this week, the thing that was hoped for and has not yet come, the thing that was feared and has not yet arrived but has not been ruled out. God knows all of those specifics. The foundation being established in this prayer is not a generic ground for a generic person facing a generic week. It is the specific, personal, attentive grounding of the God who knows the exact shape of this person's uncertainty. Your word declares in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 29, verses 11 through 13, that the plans God has are plans to prosper and not to harm, plans to give a hope and a future. And if you seek him, you will find him when you seek him with all your heart. Plans already made for this person, for this week. For the specific uncertainties that look uncertain from the Sunday side, but are already known and already held and already included in the plans that do not harm. Lord, ground my mind in you before this week begins. What you established cannot be moved by what the week brings. The seeking is the grounding, not the finding out what will happen, the finding of the God who already knows and who has already prepared what the uncertainty requires. And the person who seeks and finds does not need the week to be certain. They are grounded in the one who holds what is certain within what looks uncertain. Lord, I want to pray now about how the grounded mind actually moves through the week differently than the ungrounded one. The image belongs to the book of Matthew, chapter 7. Jesus describes two builders. One built his house on rock, one built on sand. The storm came to both houses equally. The same rain, the same floods, the same winds. The storm did not favor the rock builder. Both experienced the same external conditions. The difference was entirely in what the house was built on. The grounded person and the ungrounded person will experience the same week, the same Monday morning inbox, the same unexpected Wednesday development, the same Friday accumulation of everything that was not resolved. The week will be what it is for both of them. What is different is what they are standing on when it arrives. The ungrounded person is moved by the week. Their interior takes the shape of the week's events. When the week is going well, they are well. When the week is difficult, they are difficult. The exterior determines the interior. The sand shifts with whatever weight is placed on it. The grounded person is not moved by the week, not unmoved by it, not indifferent to what happens. But the interior does not take its shape from the week's events. It maintains a shape that was established before the events arrived. The week is experienced from the foundation rather than shaping the foundation. That is the difference between rock and sand, not the events, the response to the events. Your word declares in the book of Ephesians, chapter 3, verse 17, that Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith, and that you, being rooted and established in love, may have power to grasp how wide and long and high and deep is the love of Christ. Rooted and established. Those are foundation words. Before grasping, before comprehending the width and the length and the height and the depth. First, the rooting. First, the establishing. Then the grasping that is only possible from the grounded position. Lord, ground my mind in you before this week begins. What you established cannot be moved by what the week brings. And I want to receive something from the two builders' image that goes beyond the structural comparison. When the storm came, the text says the house on the rock did not fall because it had its foundation on the rock. The house did not fall. Not that the storm was gentle to it, not that the wind and rain spared it because of the foundation. The storm was the same. The house stood because the foundation held. The grounded life is not the storm-free life. It is the life that stands when the storm comes, and the standing in the middle of the same conditions that collapse the sand-built life is itself a testimony. The person who came through the week's storm still standing is not standing because they were skilled or fortunate or strong enough. They are standing because the foundation was established before the storm arrived, and the standing is the evidence that the foundation is what it was declared to be. Let me be that standing evidence this week, Lord, not the declaration that my week was easy, the evidence that the foundation held through a week that was not. The quiet testimony of a person who encountered the same conditions as everyone else and stood because they were standing on something that does not move. Grounded people are not reactive. They do not match the emotional temperature of the room they walk into. The person who arrives agitated does not make the grounded person agitated. The conversation that escalates does not escalate the grounded person along with it. The tension in the room does not become the tension in the grounded interior. The grounded person brings their own temperature into the room rather than adopting the room's. That quality is one of the most useful things a person can bring to the people in their life, because the ungrounded person, taking their shape from the environment, tends to amplify what is already present. The tense room gets tenser. The anxious conversation gets more anxious. The emotional temperature rises, but the grounded person stabilizes. The room that was tense is slightly less tense after the grounded person enters it, not because of anything said, because of what was brought. Your word declares in the book of Proverbs, chapter 15, verse 1, that a gentle answer turns away wrath. The gentle answer does not come from a person who is running hot. It comes from the grounded person whose interior was established before the wrath arrived. The gentleness is the product of the foundation, not the product of the circumstances. Let me be that stabilizing presence this week, Lord, in the tense room, in the escalating conversation, in the moment where the emotional temperature is rising and the grounded person's response determines whether it rises further or finds somewhere to settle. Let me bring the temperature that was established in this Sunday morning prayer into every room the week places me in. And Father, let the grounded mind also produce something in the decisions this week requires, not just emotional stability, principled clarity. The ability to make decisions from what I actually believe rather than from the pressure of the moment. The decision made at the height of the week's demands, when the pressure is real and the time is short, is either the decision of a grounded person or the decision of a reactive one. The grounded decision comes from somewhere the week's pressure cannot override. The reactive decision comes from wherever the pressure is highest. Your word declares in the book of Daniel, chapter 1, verse 8, that Daniel resolved not to defile himself. Resolved. Before the situation tested the resolution, before the pressure of the court arrived, before the competing demands made the easy path visible, he resolved prior to the testing. And when the testing came, the resolution held because it had been established before the test arrived. Let me resolve today, Lord, before the week tests the resolution, what I believe. How I will respond to the things that will test what I believe, what I will not compromise, regardless of the pressure. The resolution that is established in this Sunday morning prayer, and that holds when the Wednesday situation arrives with its persuasive case for the easier path. And I want to ask for something that precedes the resolution and makes it possible, honesty about where I am actually vulnerable. Because the resolution that holds is the resolution that was established with accurate knowledge of where the pressure will come. Daniel knew what would be offered in the palace. He knew the specific temptation he was saying no to before it arrived. His resolution was specific because his self-knowledge was honest. Where am I most likely to be pressed this week? What is the specific version of the easier path that will be most tempting when the week's pressure is high? The compromise that has a reasonable sounding justification. The exception that seems warranted given the circumstances. The departure from what I know is right, that the week's demands will make appear necessary. Naming those vulnerabilities honestly before God is part of the grounding. Because the grounded person is not only standing on the foundation, they are standing on it with their eyes open to where the ground is most likely to be tested. And the resolution made with that honest self-knowledge is more likely to hold than the resolution made from Sunday's optimism about how the week will treat the principles being established. Your word declares in the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13, that no temptation has overtaken you except what is common to mankind. And God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, He will also provide a way out so that you can endure it, a way out, already prepared, before the temptation arrives, by the God who knows where the ground will be tested and who has already placed the exit where it will be needed. The resolution made with honest self-knowledge and grounded in that promised provision holds a different quality than the one made in ignorance of where the testing will come. Lord, ground my mind in you before this week begins. What you established cannot be moved by what the week brings. Father, as this prayer closes, I want to commit something specific to you before the week begins. Not the outcomes, the posture. The commitment that this week, however it unfolds, will be navigated from the grounded position rather than from the reactive one. That when Monday is hard, the response will come from the foundation rather than from the surface of what Monday produced. That when Wednesday's unexpected thing arrives without warning, the first move will be the turning toward God rather than the anxious scramble. That when Friday carries the accumulated weight of the week, the place to bring it will be clear, because the practice of bringing was established on Sunday. The commitment is not to perfection, it is to return, to keep coming back to the foundation when the week has pulled the person from it. Not once, as many times as the week requires. Because the foundation does not move, the person can always return to it. The return is always possible. The grounding is always available. The rock is always there. Your word declares in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 33, verse 27, that the eternal God is your refuge, and underneath are the everlasting arms. Underneath, not above, not in front, underneath. The foundation is below everything the week will build, below the difficulty, below the uncertainty, below the unexpected thing, below the accumulated weight of Friday. The everlasting arms are underneath all of it, holding everything from below. The foundation that does not shift because the arms beneath it are everlasting. That is what was established in this prayer, not the week's agenda, not the plan for every contingency. The foundation, the rock, the refuge, the everlasting arms that are underneath everything the week will bring before the week has brought any of it. And I want to close with the specific word that grounded people can speak into the uncertain week that ungrounded people cannot. Peace. Not the false peace that denies what is difficult, not the performed peace of someone who has decided to appear calm regardless of the interior condition. The actual peace of a person whose foundation is established, who knows what they are standing on, who has declared it in this Sunday morning prayer before the week has said anything about what it intends to produce. Your word declares in the book of John, chapter 14, verse 27, that the peace Jesus gives is not as the world gives. The world gives peace conditionally, when the circumstances cooperate, when the outcomes confirm the hope, when the uncertainty resolves in the hoped-for direction. That peace is available only when the week earns it. Jesus gives peace differently, before the week earns it, before the Monday confirms it, before the Wednesday even hints at it. The peace is given now on a Sunday morning to the grounded person who has established the foundation before the conditions have demonstrated whether the conditions deserve it. Lord, ground my mind in you before this week begins. What you established cannot be moved by what the week brings. That is the declaration this Sunday closes with. Grounded, before Monday arrives to test the grounding, before the week's first unexpected thing, before any of it, the foundation is established. The everlasting arms are underneath. The peace is given, and the week, whatever it brings, is entering from the side of the person who was already grounded before it arrived. To everyone who prayed with me this morning, go back to the comments and write it one final time. Lord, ground my mind in you before this week begins. What you established cannot be moved by what the week brings. Carry that into Monday. Return to it when Tuesday tests it. Let the return be as natural as the drift, because the practice has been building toward exactly that. Subscribe to this channel and come back tomorrow morning. We begin the week together, every week, before the Monday has had a single chance to set the interior before God does. Share this prayer with someone standing at the beginning of a week that looks uncertain. What you send might be the foundation they needed before the week arrived to test it. May the Lord ground your mind today in the foundation that holds regardless of what the week brings. May the resolution established in this Sunday prayer hold through every moment the week tests it. May the everlasting arms that are underneath everything the week will place on you be felt in every moment. The weight is real. And may you arrive at next Sunday with the quiet evidence of someone who was grounded before the week began, and who found, through everything the week produced, that the foundation was exactly what it was declared to be. In Jesus' name, amen.